Okay, today I have got our third HMO case study to share with you. Currently recording this in Venice, so you're going to have to forgive the bells in the background. It's midday mass o'clock, so hopefully it's not too much of a distraction. This case study is one that holds a special place in my heart. It's super simple, it's not the most profitable, but it's the first HMO that we ever did. Completely unintentionally, but it set the stage for everything that we have gone on to do. And I still think that this model can work phenomenally well. Super simple, super low cost. There's two stages to it, and the first that I will go on to share, particularly if you can live in the house as you are operating it as a sort of mini HMO, no better way to get started in property, if you ask me. So, we're sharing it because, like I say, it's part of our story. There will be people watching this who say, oh yeah, 10 years ago it's not relevant, it was easier back in 2009, property prices have changed, blah blah blah. I'm hoping that's not you. Those people are looking for excuses as to why it can't happen today, and we see examples every day, every week, every month with the people that we're working with who are still buying deals at good prices. If you go on Rightmove and do a search for properties up to 100 grand, up to 120 grand within 5 or 10 miles of where you want to live, you will find options. And yes, maybe you need to sacrifice a little bit. When we bought this one, it was up in Newcastle. I wanted to live in Jesmond. It was where all the students lived. It was where all the young professionals were living. All of my colleagues couldn't afford it. So we went a couple of miles down the road and I bought something that I could afford. And I lived there for a couple of years. And yeah, okay, it was a small sacrifice. I had 5 minutes longer on the bus. I couldn't walk around to my friends' houses. But you know what? For the education that gave us, for the income that gave us, wouldn't change things for a second. So when we bought this, we'd flipped a couple of houses. I say the royal we, at this stage I didn't even know Victoria, so I'd flipped a couple of houses. I had a single let, had a little bit of experience with renovations, but not masses, nowhere near the amount of experience that we have got today. But still, jumped in with purchase of a project that needed a renovation. Again, from an affordability point of view, the idea of buying a house or an apartment for me to live in that was fully renovated didn't really sit well with me. I'd been watching Sarah Beanie, Homes Under the Hammer, all that stuff, and I thought, no, you know what, I can go buy something, needs renovation, add value to it along the way, and save myself some money. So that's exactly what I did. Ended up buying a 3-bedroom Tyneside flat, which is a kind of purpose-built block in Newcastle. If you're from that area, you'll be familiar with it. Kind of unique to that location as far as I'm aware, but a 3-bedroom purpose-built flat. Purchase price was £98,000, £98,500, and I spent about £20,000 on the renovations. This was back in 2009. We didn't do anything fancy. I didn't do anything fancy. Didn't add any additional bedrooms, didn't add any en suites or anything like that. It was just a simple 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom flat that I rewired, plastered, decorated, new flooring, new central heating, plumbing, all that good stuff, but no structural work, very basic, predominantly cosmetic renovation. Once that work was done, I lived in one of the bedrooms and I rented out the other 2 bedrooms for £350 per month each, so £700 total income from those 2 bedrooms. My mortgage on this at the time, that was a repayment mortgage, was about £400. My bills, maybe another £100 on top of that. So every month I was getting £700 rental income from those 2 bedrooms that I was renting out in the flat that I owned and lived in as well. And my costs were about £500 a month, £400 on the mortgage, £100 on the bills. So every month, as well as having my mortgage paid for me, as well as having my bills paid for me, I was effectively living free in my own home. I was also making £200 per month profit. And because of the government rent-a-room scheme that still operates to this day, it's still exactly the same, if you rent out rooms in your own home, the first £7,500 of rental income that you make every year is tax-free. So it was a win-win. I was living in my own home that I'd renovated to my spec. I was living initially with a couple of friends, and then gradually as they moved on and out, it was people that I didn't know that became friends. So living in my own home with £200 per month profit coming in on top of all of my mortgage and bills being paid, and that rental income was tax-free thanks to the government rent-a-room scheme. So it was a great start in property. It was a great boost as I was sort of young, single professional. And then Victoria came along and things kind of went out the window. We decided pretty quickly that we wanted to move in together. So at the time, when we were looking for somewhere to buy, the neighbouring property, the ground floor of the Tyneside flat, 2-bedroom option, came on the market. We bought that in 2012 for £82,500. We did another £20,000 renovation and we moved in there, which left my old bedroom, the bedroom 1, bedroom 3, whatever you want to call it, in the upstairs flat empty. That rented out for £400 a month. And it meant that our profit on that 3-bedroom flat jumped to about £600 every month, which covered our new mortgage on the 2-bedroom flat and all of the bills as well. So at that stage, we then had 2 properties that were going up in value. We had 2 properties where both mortgages were being paid by rental income. We were effectively financially free. If we'd lost our jobs, we could have kept a roof over our heads and kept paying the bills from the income from a small 3-bedroom flat. One 3-bedroom flat effectively made us financially free. We weren't affluent. We couldn't have still gone on holiday, but we could have maintained a roof over our heads. It wouldn't have been a disaster if we had lost our jobs. It gave us a buffer from one very small, very simple 3-bedroom HMO. Now, a couple of years after that, we decided that property was the future for us. We were moving to Manchester to build our property portfolio, to relocate, and that was where we decided that we were going to focus all of our efforts and attention. So we sold the properties in 2014, you can see here, in order to buy our first intentional HMO in Stockport. We sold the 3-bedroom without a huge amount of profit. We bought it for almost 100. We spent 20 grand on it, sold it for 125. 2-bed, did a bit better than that. We bought it for close to 80. We spent 20 grand on it, and then we sold it for 121. But the lessons that we learned from that, the extra capital that gave us, allowed us to go on and start with our HMO portfolio proper. So that first one was very unintentional, but the benefits of it, a lot of people poo-poo mini HMOs, or the profits in the 5th bedroom. Mini HMOs don't make any sense. They make a ton of sense. And particularly, like I say, in cases like this, if you want to live in one of the rooms yourself or you're looking for a low-risk entry point, it can be a phenomenal place to start. Now, obviously, if you have got more experience, if you've got deeper pockets, you don't need to start with a 3 or 4-bedroom HMO. You can jump straight in with 6-bedroom, 10-bedroom, whatever you want to do. But there is profit to be made at all ends of the market. You don't need masses of wealth, masses of experience to get started with a successful HMO portfolio. And there are still properties available for this sort of money close to pretty much every major city in the UK. Obviously, if you're living in central London, you're not going to be able to buy a 3-bedroom flat for £100,000. But like I say, I made some sacrifices in location. I wanted to live in Jesmond. I decided to move to Heaton. When we moved to Manchester, prices were more expensive in some of the areas that we wanted to buy, where we're now buying now. So Stockport became the option for us. Go on Rightmove, do a search, limit the price to £100,000 to £120,000 and see what's available within a 5 or a 10-mile radius. There will be options. People will want to live in those areas. So you don't need to be single to get started in HMO investing, but if you want to and you can live in the house at the same time and benefit from the rent-a-room scheme, great. But small HMOs can and do work, and it's another option for you to think about. So hopefully that was helpful, just another insight into our HMO portfolio. If you're watching this close to the time of release, our free training starting on the 17th of September, just a couple of days from now. Still registration open for that, probably will be until Sunday, so starts on the 17th. You can register for that up until the 19th. It's a 3-part training to help you identify the ideal investment area for your own HMO. Be great to see you there. If you're watching this after the fact, we'll probably be running something similar in the near future, so make sure you follow us on YouTube, social media, register for our email newsletter, and we will let you know the next time we are doing that. But hope you enjoyed it, and I'll speak to you soon.